Welcome to the Take It Home podcast, the podcast so bad we really should just take it home. I am one of your hosts, Doc Simmons. You can find me on all social media at Doc Simmons 17. Today I'm joined by the usual beautiful crew, so I'll give the hot tag to my partner. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. It's Zach Hendricks, all social media at Z Hendricks brand. And of course, if you love your mama's favorites, them out of town shooters, the guys who bring you that daily whiff of you know what, Country Air. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Country Air Official or on Twitter at Country Air Brand. And I will give the 3 count to the referee of the group.
You guys, I'm Perch. You can find me at Perch XLV, # for the ref brand, and Waffles Take It Home podcast.
Yes, sir. Waffles, waffles, waffles. My planned waffles were very delicious. Though I want to take a moment, I guess to vent, to air a grievance. The standard Belgian waffle order should be 2 waffles.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Let's get rid of this 1 waffle. Nobody just wants 1 Belgian waffle. It's not enough. 2 minimum. 2 minimum. Waffle was delicious. Just not enough. Not enough.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Sometimes they even break it down into fourths, and it makes it look like you have 4 little triangles. Minimum of 6 to 8 triangles would be sufficient.
Yes. We need more waffles in our standard order. That is my grievance. I don't know who decided that 1 was enough. I was not convened on this. I highly disagree with this. To all the restaurants out there, if you want that highly sought after Take It Home podcast endorsement, start putting 2 Belgian waffles in your standard order.
Double stacks, standards.
That's what we're saying. Like, this is America. How are we only having 1 Belgian waffle? Come on.
If you want, just call them the Take It Home order, where we can get at least 2 or more Belgian waffles.
Yeah, it should just 1 just isn't enough. I don't get it. Who has ever had 1 and was satisfied?
Depends on what I'm having on the side.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can have other things on the side, but I would still want more waffle because your waffle isn't going to last the other things on the side.
Well, when you're the greatest heavyweight of all time, you need more than 1 of everything.
I guess. I don't know. He's like, maybe I'm a dreamer. But
You're not the only one.
But to all the listeners, do the YouTube thing, like, share, subscribe, follow all our social medias, and I will pass it to the senior official to hear that beautiful banger of the week.
Ooh, banger of the week this week comes as a straight banger. Dead Wrong, Biggie Smalls, pop it very loud.
Oh,
loud and on repeat.
What brought that into the mood? I doubt that just came up on the shuffle.
Oh man, that song is a banger. I feel it. Entrance music during the big tournament. That's the tune
who comes out to that?
The AAW heavyweight champion, Fred Yehi.
Oh yeah, he comes out to Dead Wrong.
Yeah, and that song bumps.
Damn. God, I guess I've never seen his entrance.
Yeah, I mean that paints a picture right there for you. Dead Wrong, Biggie Smalls for an awesome Fred Yehi intro. Saw it many times over the weekend, and it hits just as hard every time. And yeah, just the right tune.
Oh God, yeah. Like I'm him. I guess now that I know he comes out to Dead Wrong. Calvin Tankman, Hail Mary.
Oh my God, yeah,
And,
Tankman's tune for Hail Mary coming out. That's as
yeah,
good too.
and Brian Keith still tipping might be my top
Mhm.
3 entrances on the indies right now.
I'm right there with you. Those are all bangers.
Yeah, and they just vibe those songs so well too. So like, oh god, yeah.
So
Definitely.
think of Fred Yehi when the song goes up on the list and when
Oh
it comes
yes,
up on the
yes,
bangers
yes.
playlist.
So yes, I am going to go ahead right now so I don't forget and add that to the Take It Home podcast playlist that you can find down in the description. Be sure to give that a listen. But now that we're done plugging ourselves and putting ourselves over, let's take a moment to talk about what we watched over the weekend or what we watched over the week. Perch, why don't you keep it going?
Man, we talked about it a little bit on the last show about the AEW, but that Bobby Fish against CM Punk match to start was a straight fire, great match, just good ROH-esque wrestlers to start it up, and a good old fashioned match. And the way it ended in that, what was that, a 10-man or a 6-man of the main event of that night,
Yeah,
with the costumes and
8-man.
stuff.
8-man?
Yeah, 8-man crazy, and then call it with the couple extras at the end with Hangman coming in
Yeah.
and the lackey coming in. It just kind of brought me back to those old ROH days, and great characters, great personalities, just good, entertaining fun, and to see AEW do a Halloween show or at least a match like that was awesome to watch. Speaking of the Halloween action, I've gone back and watched a lot of Vincent Price movies over the past few weeks.
Ooh,
Uh,
Love them in Scooby-Doo.
yeah, great Scooby-Doo. He was good in the old Brady Bunch movie back in the day.
I don't think
Theater
I saw
of
that Brady
Blood.
Bunch movie.
Ooh, it's a good one. I think 1972
They
era.
have a couple Brady Bunch movies, right?
Bad ones.
Yeah, a couple
Remakes.
bad ones. Yeah, obviously.
When they go to Hawaii back in 72, 73, that's
I
all
think
you
I've
need to see.
seen that one and like the remake movie. I think those are the only 2 I've seen.
But yeah, Vincent Price is an OG, just great. Theater of Blood. He goes back as like a Shakespeare actor who they think is dead. But the critics who didn't vote him for an award, he goes back and takes out one by one with the deaths that are used in the actual plays. That was a good one. And House on Haunted Hill, another good one. And The Pit and the Pendulum. 3 good Vincent Prices for you if anyone's interested. Good any time of year.
Yeah, I would think I like Vincent Price. I might give those a watch. I'm not big on the horror or dark movies, but Vincent Price is dope. So.
Such good campiness to it. Such good, the right amount of campy and the right amount of
Yeah. I think and that's the thing. I think I there's a level of campy that I guess I prefer that a lot of horror movies don't like. Like I love Cabin in the Woods. That's not really a horror movie, I would say, but it's super campy. And I'm a big fan of the Halloween series.
Ooh, yeah.
Those are mine. Zach, what did you watch over the week?
Watched a little bit more Dark Side of the Ring. Watched about Jake the Snake's family with his dad Grizz. That was, if you haven't watched it, that one, viewer discretion advised. That's a little dark. No pun intended. I watched some YouTube videos my lovely tag partner sent me. War Machine and Ricochet versus Ricochet and Helico. And then Mike Bailey versus Kushida. And I also watched a little bit of Elevation today. Is it Elevation or Dark? But either way, I watched that Butterfinger champion himself, the Savage Gentleman, the homie, Victor Benjamin. That guy, for those who don't know, back when Ring of Honor was doing their 3-day tour, I want to say I forgot what city, but they're in Michigan, Chicago, then Milwaukee. I did all 3 days. I know majority of the boys did Saturday and Sunday with Milwaukee and Chicago, but at the time, Victor was one of the students of the dojo of Ring of Honor. Super cool guy to hang out with. Just super chill, super mellow, very respectful, very humble, but like we've seen him at GCW Bloodsport. He's a bad motherfucker.
Yep.
But,
him
cool
and Lady Frost. We met that week, and they both have been tearing it up over the last. I mean, maybe Lady Frost a more so over the last year, but definitely Victor Benjamin's getting his respect. I feel now in like the last 6 months.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely had to watch his match with Kazarian. Very entertaining match, but yeah, it's kind of what I've been watching a little bit of. And I can see why you sent me those videos. Figured tomorrow when we meet up, we can talk a little bit more about those videos you sent me because I know what we're trying to prepare for. So
yeah, me myself, I also watched the AE Dubs. Very much enjoyed that main event. Watched some Rampage. That Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston match was right up my alley. Highly enjoyed that. Just two guys beating the hell out of each other. Bryan Danielson bruises very well. I know how good it is to have somebody like that in the ring across from you. Shout out to Mav. Those sensitive skin guys are awesome for making you look like a badass. What else did I watch? Went back, watched some good old homie Marufuji. Sorry, Naomichi Marufuji. Watched some matches with him and Akira Taue. Of course, every time I watch Marufuji match, I see something that I thought I came up with, but nope, he did it first. So that's always sad. And then tonight, I watched the Monday Night Wars with FTW. You can find that over on the Frozen Tundra Twitch channel, Frozen_Tundra wrestling, where I rewatched our match from over the weekend, where I'm sure we'll get into later on in just a little bit.
Actually, probably next segment.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, that is the next segment. So why don't we just go into that? Hey, Zach, let's talk about our match from Friday.
Let's talk about it. So this Friday was Frozen Tundra. Was it Red Moon or Harvest Red Moon? Something Moon.
Not sure. Not gonna lie.
You know what? Let's talk about Friday. Let's keep it going. I'm dragging it out so I can pull up the Instagrams and see what Red October. There we go. Frozen Tundra. Red October. We are very horrible people. I'm sorry.
That's for a later segment. That's what that is for. I know what you're thinking of. That's for a later segment.
Yep. Yeah, I'm all confused.
Yep.
But yeah, Red October. There was a tag team lottery tournament. 2 rounds. Round 1, it was the Knights Court versus XTC and Randall Fitzsimmons, which actually benefited your mama's favorites because as much as we love tag wrestling, 1 match on the body sometimes better than 2, and these guys got themselves in a double disqualification, meaning the second first round match became the finals of the tournament, where Marche Rocket and Nell Dillinger took on them out of town shooters. Country Air.
Yep. Your mama's favorite tag team doing the thing in Waterloo. Shout out to my friends from Madison who could come out and see the show. I saw that you guys had a great time.
Yep. And I think it made it a little bit better because the winner of that match became the FTW Frozen Feud Tag Team Champions. And Doc, let them know how that match went.
Well, I was knocked out for the end, but I woke up to having new tag team championships
around our waist. If you guys didn't see, my dogs did a lovely photo shoot with it, the belt.
Yep. Always appreciate the pups looking good, looking sexy with those new titles that we won.
Yes, sir. Shout out to FTW for the opportunity. they called us up asking, reminding us that we had number one contenderships and asking if we were willing to gamble our number one contenderships for some tag gold, and it worked out to our favor.
Yep. When in doubt, bet on yourself.
Yes, sir.
Dark
Doc, what'd
match
you
went
do?
well. I only worked Nell in tag matches, and I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed working him every time. This was my first time working Marche, which was something that I was looking forward to, and also led into our topic for later today. Learned a lot, but more importantly, we came up with the win.
Yes, sir. Working Marche as well. There was a moment where Marche was whooping my ass a little bit, and I fell perfectly in the corner with my chest exposed and was preparing for the chop of doom. Luckily, that didn't happen that night, but I know one day my number will get called, and as the Mar man said, get my soul chopped out my body.
Yep. Was very happy that he decided to not bless any of us. Was definitely you scout your opponents. Everybody knows Marche's got vicious chops. As a striker, I definitely want to see if I hold my medal to him. But that's the power shot right there. That's the one you got to watch out for.
Yeah, it's one of those like you want to experience, but at the same time, you shouldn't be experiencing it.
Yep.
And I think we got lucky and missed out of dodge, but
I think he had too much fun throwing me around.
I got a little too carried away with throwing her around. I will say that the end of the match got a little hectic. It could have gone either way. Luckily, the referee Junior kept following in the footsteps of Dan Perch, realizing who the legal men are, because Doc went for a crossbody and got caught in the air with a cutter.
Yeah, my neck really hurts from that.
I think it's the benefit of just us being more of a veteran tag team, knowing who's legal and who's not. Marche and Doc were not legal. Ref called it. I took a couple knees to the face from Nell Dillinger, but luckily avoided the third one with the roll up.
Yeah, that's the thing about wrestling those guys who mostly do singles. They hit their finish and are ready for the pin, but don't pay attention.
These guys, yeah, they hit their finish, and that's another thing too. These guys, like, they don't watch their six. Us being tag guys, I think Nell Dillinger didn't realize we watch at all angles, and when he went for that knee again, I was luckily able to evade because I'm so used to worrying about two guys instead of one.
Yeah, just makes it so much easier for us. But like I said,
hats off to them. Nothing to discredit them. Nell Dillinger is one of my favorite guys to get in the ring with. I love doing the shoot style with him, the pure style. He's one of the funnest guys to do it with, and Marche first time ever. So nothing but love for those two.
Definitely. Hope we get to do it again.
Yes, sir. Then the following weekend for me was just a bunch of family Halloween parties. Saturday, my girlfriend dressed up as LJN Miss Elizabeth, and I was Dollar Store Macho Man Randy Savage. And then Sunday, Little Red Riding Hood and the Grandma Wolf.
Oh yeah, I actually did a good amount on Saturday. I went to go watch the new Dune movie. I highly enjoyed it. For the people who are upset that it's the most non-lighthearted movie you've ever seen, I believe is what's being said. I enjoy the Marvel movies too. Not everything has to be funny. I thought it was a really good movie. Yeah, it's super serious, but it's mostly serious subject matter. So that was good. Saturday night, went to a haunted house with the lady. My first haunted house. Fun. I think she got a kick out of it and wants to make it a yearly thing. So a year from now, when we're doing this, I'll be talking about a new haunted house. Hopefully we make it up to Green Bay and see the homie Skits up there do his thing.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how was the experience? How scary was it?
So I am pretty susceptible to jump scares, and they had a good amount that got me. Because there was one zombie that like I looked straight at and was like, "There's no way, that's a person. That's definitely a doll." Took 3 steps and saw it standing up, and that took me aback. There was like an inflatable, the dog from the Nightmare Before Christmas, like an inflatable version of him on the ground that looked super deflated. But then a person was in it and started moving and making sounds, and that got me too. So I will admit I'm very susceptible to jump scares, and they had a couple good ones that were good. Looked like they might have been short-staffed because some places look like there should have been things, and there weren't. So had those things been there, I think that also would have helped the experience. I can't get mad at them for being short-staffed. Everywhere is short-staffed right now, so it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, highly enjoyed it. And then Sunday, just rested. Needed the rest, like I said. Taking that M80 was not comfortable. So highly appreciated just having that extra day off. Perch, you had the big weekend. Why don't you tell us about yours?
Yeah, this was a fun weekend. This was the my first ever for AAW, the Jim Lyman Memorial Tournament, a big 2-day tournament that takes place. Yeah, it was a great time. So the way the weekend shaped up, there was one show Friday and 2 shows on Saturday. Friday night was night 1 of the tournament, and just great people all around, great matchups, great competitors, and it was all taking place at the Berwyn Eagles Club, a venue that I've definitely talked about before on this podcast, mainly doing lucha shows out of it. It was cool to be a part of AAW running at the Berwyn Eagles Club, because it was a venue that they had ran a long time ago and had a lot of history there. So it was almost like a homecoming weekend of sorts. And I was lucky enough to play a fun role this time around as the referee. Match 1 kicked things off. The first match of the tournament was Ace Perry against Lee Moriarty. Awesome match. 2 great guys. Love being in the ring with either one of them. And they put on a great opening match. Really kind of back and forth the whole time, and it set the tone for the tournament that followed. Had match number 2, which was Matt Fidget against Jake Something. Jake Something, monster of a man. Just a beast inside the ring. And Matt Fidget, just a fiery veteran, been doing it for a long time. Part of the besties for a while, out to prove something on his own. And he was able to prove it to Jake that night as he knocked out Jake Something, first round of the tournament. That was a cool match. At one point, Fidget took a buckle bomb and rolled all the way outside the ring. It was one of the more devastating things I've seen. Cool match, though. Really enjoyed. And then that night, the main event was Josh Alexander against Mance Warner. Good, hard-hitting match. Mance is someone who you know is not going to go out easily. And Josh Alexander is someone who's not going to let up. So they just kind of beat the hell out of each other. And Josh Alexander ended up walking away the winner in that match. The next day, we had a day show, Hell Hath No Fury. And that was out of the Berwyn Eagles Club as well. Started things off with some Milwaukee representation. Joey Jett in the house. That was awesome to see. Sierra was in the house. Just as awesome to see, teaming up with Hyan. Pretty badass team. Really cool. And the main event had another Milwaukee action, but I'll get to that in a minute. The first match that I had in that was AK-47, the women's champ, Allison Kay, against someone who I had just met that weekend, Nicole Savoy. Big fan, super cool chick, awesome wrestler, just good all the way around. I met her and I was intrigued, want to know more. And she put up a good fight against Allison Kay. Came up short, but damn good match.
Yep. Had a little bit of interaction with her at that last ROH show we went to. Yeah, cool chick. She comes out in the Kuroko no Basket warm-ups, so big fan.
And then the next match of that that I had that night was the main event with Fred Yehi defending the championship against Silas Young, returning to the Berwyn Eagles Club and AAW. Don't Stop Believin' hit, and the crowd went nuts. And I was standing right in the center of the ring, hearing that song and thinking right back to Buena Vista banquets in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Performing, with mom and pops in attendance, watching the shows.
We got one more to go. Hopefully it won't be too cold.
And 3 Count was in there taking photos. MKE wrestling was so much fun when Silas was running it. So to have Silas run, or to have him come back here and hear that song, just a rush of emotions came running back. And it was an awesome match, one that I didn't see coming. And talk about matchups, that one had it all. And Fred against Silas, worth checking out.
I imagine that was probably decently brutal.
Yeah, it was.
I did see a few pictures. I believe it was Camera Guy. So shout out to Camera Guy, Nick. Love him. I believe he shot the whole weekend. So give him a follow.
Nick's like a sleeper. And what I mean by that is like a good sleeper. He just came out of nowhere and just like erupted real quick.
Hey, love it. Love to see guys succeed. And he's a good guy. So love it. Love to see good people win.
Yeah, absolutely. And he had some trading cards on display this week too for the AAW Alive series.
I did see that.
Awesome looking cards.
Look good.
There's a few select ones where you may see a little Perch in the background.
I did see some Perch cookies.
Yeah, that was definitely a thing. Top Rope Bakery, good people. They hooked it up. Some custom Perch cookies, outrageous.
How were they?
I couldn't tell you because I haven't opened them. I had to fight temptation the whole ride back, but I was able to get them into the freezer, and one of them is definitely going to the niece and nephew. So I'll let you know what the verdict is.
All right.
They're hot, or I think s'mores cookie or hot chocolate cookies. Oh my God, they just look so damn good.
So next week we will have Perch's Top Rope cookie review.
It was just a fun weekend. And then it all accumulated with the finale of the tournament, the final night 2. The first match that I had of night 2 was Daniel Garcia against Josh Alexander. A matchup where on paper I would tell you I'd be intrigued, but afterwards I could not tell you how much I took out of that match because it was phenomenal. We try to get good reps when we're inside the ring. Anytime we step foot inside that ring is a blessing, an absolute blessing. Could all be gone tomorrow. Whether we're training, whether we're at a show, try to maximize every moment that we're inside that ring. More experience leads to better reps leads to, better product and performance. The reps that I was able to get in that Garcia match against Alexander were about as useful as I could ever get inside the wrestling ring. So that was a very important match for me, and one I'll look back on and study and look and get better from. So I really enjoyed it. Definitely, that one is just as well worth seeking out. A cool feeling by the end of it. It was a good pro wrestling and kind of the reason why I got into the business for matches like that.
Nice.
Next one was Fidget against Shaft. Shaft, another big guy standing in Fidget's way. Let's just say Fidget beat Shaft for the first time in AAW. Giant Slayer. And man, the way he did it, I mean, I've seen a good running knee before, but this running knee busted him open, clocked him right in the eye, bam, KO, 1, 2, 3. Shaft is in a pool of blood. It was unreal. Great kill shot for real. it was something. It was a moment of 1, 2, 3, great, raise the arm, go to Shaft, hey, catch your breath, brother, find that camera. Because you just took one and you're wearing it. But a great way for Fidget to go into the finals, especially with a devastating finisher like that. And then the finals were Fidget against Alexander. So a couple matches. I had the semis going into it, and then coming out, Fidget against Alexander in a barn burner, probably a 20-25 minute hard-hitting match. A few months ago, I refed their match and they went 20-minute draw. So there was no winner decided back then, but knowing that it was the tournament, I was knowing they'd be hitting this match is scheduled for one fall with no time limits. Given that it's a tournament, there must be a winner. So I was thrilled.
That is my favorite call. This no time limit or TV time remaining. TV time remaining I enjoy as well, but no time limit. There must be a winner.
There must be a winner.
It's probably my favorite call, second only to TV time remaining.
I was doing the math in my head and thinking, well, yeah, obviously this has got to be a no time limit. And I was talking to a gentleman in production. He's like, oh, no, they'll put a time limit on it. I'm sure, but there's always. By the end of the show, he goes, well, you were right. It was funny, but there certainly was a winner. Matt Fidget came out the winner of the JLMT. Great match, great fight, great tournament. Phenomenal wrestling all around. One of those weekends that you try and get stronger from. And a lot of good people from the past were in the house, and a lot of good people from the present. And shout out to Nate Speckman, referee. He was at AAW when I first joined, and he has since moved out to Maine. But he was back in town for this one. So it was a homecoming. It was great.
Awesome. Perfect, because that probably leads into our topic for tonight. I want to discuss something new we've learned. I'm sure I have brought this topic up before. I am going to bring this topic up again because I think it's important that we continue to learn as we go through our wrestling career, and sharing that knowledge that maybe we get on these shows is important for all of our growth and any of the young wrestlers listening out there. Before we start, that reminds me of something I wanted to say to any young wrestlers that are out there and listening to this. When I ask, hey, did you watch my match? You say yes. Did you see anything? Can I get a critique? I don't care how long you've been in the business. We are all trying to get better. We all have different experiences. What you see might not be what I see. I love asking Perch to critique my matches because he sees it from a ref's point of view. That gives me, something to think about. So I always, no matter what your background is, appreciate the critique, appreciate the knowledge that I can get from you. With that said, the new thing that I learned is something that I have been discussing with Perch over the past couple of weeks, and that's it's very important as wrestlers. Basically the most important thing in wrestling is the fans, is you guys, is you listeners. Without y'all, all of this is pointless. And a thing that I've been working on and me and Perch have been talking about lately is it's touching all four sides of the ring. It's very hard it's very easy, I should say, when you start learning to work television, to kind of focus on that hard cam side, because that's what matters. That's the money shot. But you still need to touch all four sides. And after this weekend, talking with Marche after our match, he talked about touching all four sides and how in a tag match, you individually don't have to touch all four sides because there are three other people in that match. You can touch one side, your opponent can touch one side, your partner can touch one side, and the opposing partner can touch one side. And you can rotate, which seems simple when you say it out loud, but it was something that I never thought of. It's like, oh yeah, and this, maybe I don't have to touch all four sides if we all agree to work together and we're all in tune. And when we're having those good tag team matches that me and Zach have been lucky enough to have, over the past couple months, weeks, or whatever, with teams like that, when you're in tune like that, you don't actually have to touch all four sides. We are all reaching the fans. We are all giving our all and all showing the emotion, that you don't have to feel that, I don't want to say rush, but it's that clock in your head that's like, okay, over here, over here, over here, over here. And that was just such a novel concept to something that, and timely concept to something that I have been working on recently. So that's what I wanted to share. Zach, what about you?
I got two. One's the same thing you just talked about with Marche. Tag team, we have the benefit of like having that just being able to, when you have those moments, like working all four sides. And the other one was a lesson with Jason Dukes from me and Doc. We were always, but Jason Dukes is just a great guy.
Yep.
Not at ICW. He's the leader of the Rose Dynasty, so he's a piece of shit there.
Yeah,
but other than that,
there, but outside of ICW, he's a good guy.
Wonderful guy, a great guy. And a big supporter of me and Doc, and like always gives us knowledge. And I don't want to get too much into detail on it, but just talk to us about how like we can help increase our bookings and how we should go about valuing ourselves.
Yeah, that's another thing that as a team we've been trying to work on is
just like some of the things he said to us, some of the things he said to us, it seems common, but like it was just like, wow, why do we never take this into consideration?
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't want to get too much into detail on that part, but that was like, as wrestlers, like we do this because it's our passion, but it's definitely nice to like.
This is actually what he say. We don't have to go too deep into it, but even as like a person or a general person at your job, in relationships, whatever it is, he was just teaching us or enforcing us to know what our value is.
Like making sure, like with the miles we drive, like teaching us like how, like if you're gonna go farther, like how to talk to people about that, to get like your gas to try to help you out the gas and stuff.
Yeah. Or hey, this is the same thing like in your regular life, how to ask for a raise. Just understanding what your value is and what you bring to a company. I think knowing our value very early in our career really helped us. And now that we have improved, we need to take a step back, reevaluate what our value is, and go forward from here. And I think that was a very important conversation that we did have with him.
Yeah, yeah, Dukes, if you're by the off chance or listen to this, thank you, because like the advice you gave us, sometimes I know you goof off and be like, I don't know if you're gonna listen to me or not, kid. But like everything you tell us, like I
We
take
are
full-
listening.
we are definitely listening, and that was like some advice that like it took almost. Doc and me have been in almost Doc's 3 years. I'm about to hit 3 years in a month. Yeah, about a month. So it's like something nice, like something we haven't heard. At least I haven't in my career until like you brought it to my light.
I think it's one of the, it's been brought up in our career, but I think it's brought up at the beginning of your career when you have no value and nobody tells you, hey, maybe you should start reevaluating what your value is.
I mean, let me rephrase that. Like he got more in detailed with how to break down the value.
Yeah, how to break down what your value is. And no, it's like, God, I can't think of his last name, but I want to put over another gentleman who was helping me with that concept earlier in my career, that really helped me, I guess, helped me reach out to companies when it was under. He explained it in a very simple terms. His name is Kevin. He's down at IWA Mid-South. He sometimes announces there.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but he was somebody in the beginning who was like, when you're reaching out to companies at this early part of your career, know exactly what your value is and express that to companies. Yes, you don't have a lot of value, but that is also to your benefit because you can tell these companies exactly what your value is. So,
Doc, I got to think, Kevin Cordell,
yes, Kevin Cordell, yes. So he was very helpful in the beginning with how to phrase introducing myself to a lot of companies, and I really appreciate that. And now Dukes, at this point in my career, is very helpful in me looking and reevaluating what my value is now that I have more. So yeah, thank you. Was that it, Zach? I'm sorry, I kept
that was it.
In there. Okay, Perch. Talk about something new you learned.
Yeah, no, something big, especially this weekend. Something I've been seeking learning. It's really all on us, what we want to learn, what's pertinent information to us. It's all at our fingertips if we seek it. And something that I'm trying to actively seek is more education on cameras in particular. When it comes to a wrestling show, we perform for a crowd as well, like you mentioned, Dre, on all four sides of the ring. And there's other times where we also perform for people watching through a video, through a TV. So as we all consume pro wrestling in so many different ways, there's, everyone just has two eyes, and what we see is what we process. And the more action we can see, and the less of someone standing in the way, the better. That being said, as a referee, I want to provide as much visual experience to the viewers as possible. There's a match going on always, and I'm going to do my job inside there, inside the ring to make sure that the match goes well and everything that has to happen does according to the rules and the referee standpoint. That being said, I can work on positioning myself within my rights of doing my job to still allow the viewer to see everything. So in particular, when it comes to cameras, there's usually one what's called a hard cam, which is a main camera that stays there the whole time. And you generally want to stay out of the way of that camera. And then there's what's called a couple of floor cameras. And the floor cameras are generally on a couple different sides of the ring. Now, if there's 3 cameras going on at one time, I'm refereeing a match inside the ring. There's no way I know what's going on or what camera is being used. That being said, I'm learning how to find out what's being used. And I'm finding ways to maneuver around the cameras to make it work a little bit better for everybody involved. So you mentioned things that we are learning. I would say camera positioning is something that I've been actively seeking and got a lot of good tips over the weekend. Picking someone's brain can be just as difficult as any task that we ever try.
Just a moment to interject. Any vets who are giving, like, now that you mentioned, to any vets that are giving me advice and you seem to give me advice and I seem distant, I am just processing that advice. I am sorry if it seems like I seem distant. I want your advice. I am just processing it and evaluating it. I know I can seem distant sometimes. I'm sorry. But I am taking your advice super seriously.
Yeah, you know, and picking someone's brain can be just as difficult as any task or any question that you're even trying to ask.
Yeah.
Because you got to want to know it. You got to want to seek it. You got to know what to ask. And, you know, it takes studying and through studying the cameras and you know, seeking some knowledge, I was able to ask some pertinent questions to some pretty valuable resources. And yeah, the early steps of developing TV readiness and camera readiness is starting. So things that we're learning, the early stages of all of the production.
I like that we both found knowledge on opposite ends of the spectrum. You're trying to figure out how to stay out of hard cam's way. We're figuring out how all 4 of us can work the cam and not be so focused on one side.
Yeah, it's miraculous. All the moving pieces inside of a wrestling ring that goes on. Different roles that we play. Someone needs to be in the spotlight for a moment, and someone doesn't need to be in the spotlight for a moment. Happens to be that the man wearing the black and white is best not in the spotlight, and yeah, creeping into the shadows, which, you know, as a wrestler like yourselves, creeping into the shadows is not something that is really in the vocabulary.
Yeah.
It is fascinating. It really is, and it all comes down to what you initially said. Give the fans the best time they can have, and whether those fans are at the show watching or at home watching, or in a, you know, playing wherever watching. You know, we want to do the best we can to make sure all the fans can enjoy everything to the fullest. Mm-hmm. That's why we seek to get better.
Yep, it's all for you. These sleepless nights, the hating of ourselves is all for you. I hope you appreciate it. All right. Let's go ahead and move on and talk about the future and talk about what we got coming up this weekend. Zach, why don't you tell them what's going on?
Yes, sir. Starting off Saturday, we will be making our way down to Oregon, Illinois, where we will be wrestling. We'll be wrestling the circus, right? Where they
Congregation of Reality.
AKA the circus.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be your mama's favorite tag team, Country Air, tagging with the big guy himself, Chiron, as we take on Anakin, Hatter, and Stumpy in a big 6-man slapping meat tag team tag team match.
Yep.
Thoughts on this one, Doc?
Love a 6-man. This should be hard hitting. A bunch of hard hitters. So come on down to the Northside Barbecue in Oregon. It'll be fun. It's the last show before the Zawa Live draft, I believe. So this might be your last chance to see Country Air down at the Oregon venue.
Yes, sir. Then after that, Doc, tell them where we're going.
We are headed down to, I guess we're still in Illinois, but we are headed to Lisle, Illinois for Zello Pros Any Given Sunday. We'll be taking on the team of Nick Colucci and Joey Avalon in a good Royale with cheese, Kings Road style match.
Beer drinking, fish slinging, cheese shooting, whatever you want to call it. Yep, it's as they say, Swoggles, the Swoggle effect match for the top guys in Milwaukee, going in, slapping meat, drinking beer, whatever you want us to do. Looking forward to this one. Zello Pro is definitely a place I enjoy working for. Always have fun tag team matches. Never had a sleeper, so I expect nothing but the best from Nick Colucci and Joey Avalon.
Yep, and on that note, go ahead and head over to the Zello Pro YouTube page and watch their Thunderstruck show from Nebraska. I'm sorry there's no audio on, so you can't hear how hard we're hitting the premiere, but it's a great match anyway. So go check that out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But Doc, we're not done at Zello, are we? Like, aren't we going to do what us young guys do, and aren't we going to pay our dues somewhere and help out?
It'll be paying the dues in the second half, but we can pass that on to Perch for him to explain his weekend.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this weekend it's gonna be a fun one. We are joining you guys at Zello Pro in Lisle. It's gonna be a fun time. Good matchups, good card. Always a fun time with Zello Pro. I had a great time doing the baseball shows over the summer on those Thursday nights. Just good old fashioned pro wrestling and fun times at Turner Hall. Fun time at Weed Street. And this will be a new venue for myself and Zello Pro. So I'm really looking forward to it. It always makes for a fun time, fun people, good atmosphere. And yeah, it's going to be on Sunday at I think 3:00 on Fight TV. And then double shotting it because right after Zello Pro, gonna have a show at Galley Lucha. This is also a first time venue for myself. I think it's about 20 minutes away. So as soon as Zello ends, going to be bouncing on down to Galley Lucha, and should be a fun night of festivities.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Full weekend of wrestling for those Take It Home podcast homies. Be sure to follow all the wrestling organizations we work for so you can get all the information. And on that note, Zach, do you have any final thoughts or questions?
I do not, unfortunately.
It's all good. Perch, final thoughts or questions?
Yeah, final question. What match from the weekend that you were not in, but you watched, stood out more than anything else from the show that you were on?
Ooh, from the show that I was on.
From a show you were on. I always like to take in at least one match or most of a match from a show that I'm on, and one that I'm not reffing, but to watch, to take it in. Was there any match in particular from a show that you guys were on that you watched and took it all in?
Well, I was on one show this weekend. I saw one other match besides the one that I was in, but it was a good one. So I'm happy I took it in. And that was the triple threat between Dis, Chucky, and Kodiak for the Falls Anywhere belt, I believe is what it's called.
Yeah, Falls Anywhere 20. I don't know what it's called, but yeah.
Yeah, they changed the name recently. So I took that in with some coworkers who came up to see me wrestle for the first time. So that was a fun one to take in with them.
Nice.
If you've seen Dis wrestle in a no rules match, you know how that goes. Chucky is finding his way and is evolving in front of all of us. So please watch Demented Chucky Bates. And Kodiak is another young guy that's coming up. So it was a very, very interesting situation to watch with people who I'm pretty sure this was their first live show. So enjoyed that.
I will piggyback off that because I was on the same show, and that was the same match I watched on the card. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to watch the rest. And one thing I really took in was the amount of pain Chucky and Dis were willing to inflict on each other. And I get it, Dysfunction is the deathmatch legend, the hardcore king, you know what I mean? And Chucky is just psychotic. And the reason why I bring this up is because I don't stop paying attention to ICW Milwaukee. I know these fans always ask where we're at and think we forgot about ICW Milwaukee. It's a deep love in my heart. I can say Doc probably says the same, but I watched watching the amount of pain they were willing to inflict on each other. Knowing now they're
Yep.
partners and they're going after the tag belt. So they're going to beat the hell out of each other and inflict that much pain on one another. I would not be happy if I was Jared Jacks and CJ Cole.
Not at all. Yeah. That is an interesting dynamic coming up.
Insane Evil 2.0.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge notch for a huge nod to Chucky Bates, because Insane Evil, the first one was Dysfunction and Chase McCoy, which were a notable, phenomenal, great tag team. So the fact that they're 2.0, there's a huge nod that Chucky could take over Chase McCoy's spot in that way. Not saying anyone's taking over, but just Chucky gained that opportunity. I know Chucky's starving for gold. Chucky's looking forward to making more of an impact outside of Brew City Wrestling and more all over the state, which he's been doing. So this is a perfect example of what his next steps.
Yeah, the worst thing for everybody is now Chucky's finding confidence, and we can't put over Chucky enough. He's always been very solid, just missing that confidence to go out and show it to all of you. But now that you're seeing it, you guys are going to know. We're very happy for Chuck.
Yes, sir.
There was a match that I got to watch. It was to start off the pre-show of the second day, and it was Kaya Mckenna against Blair Onyx. Kaya Mckenna is someone that I get to see at GCW when in town, and cool to see her wrestle anytime. And the cool thing about this match was there was a ref, Allison Lee. First time getting to work with her, and I was thrilled. She's someone who I have, I think, interacted with online, maybe through a seminar in the past, but was very intrigued, especially having a female referee come in and hold her own. It was awesome. So, yeah, that was a really cool match. It was a good, couple minutes, but got it going. Three good personalities: Blair, Kaya, and Allison Lee. Just three good women starting off an AAW show and kicking it off right.
Yep. Blair is a homie. Allison, we met at 01 the other weekend. She was almost the ref for our match, but card subject to change. That also includes referees.
I would say Allison Lee gave me a very damn Perch vibe when I first met her. Super positive. Literally walked up when she had us and kind of the same questions you would ask us, Perch, and I was just like, wow, this is yeah, she's definitely a really good a really good ref.
Yep, on her way. And I think that's it. So let's go ahead and take it on home. This has been the Take It Home podcast. Y'all be easy. 1.
Yeah.